Hey everyone, welcome back to Phoenix Creates and more Planet Coaster 2. And if you're new here, thanks for checking out the video. Hopefully you like what you see and consider subscribing for more Planet Coaster, Planet Zoo, and City Skylines content. Today's video brings me back to my Franchise Mode with Friends series and LandsDowne Park, the little park inspired by Worlds of Fun, as well as varying small family-owned parks like Canopy Lake or even Holiday World. Now, it has been a few weeks, but we're back. The last time I was here, I built the park's very first roller coaster, the Jayhawker Express, which the verdict's still out on the name. I'm not 100% sold on that, but it's starting to kind of grow on me. Honestly, don't know if I prefer Jayhawker Express or Jayhawk Express without the ER. And I got a bit more wrapped up in City Skylines too, but now I'm back and ready to pick up where I left off. To be honest, I wasn't entirely sure where I wanted to go next with the park until an idea hit. I've been playing around with it and I'm excited to finally bring it to life. And we'll get to the big new addition in just a moment, but first, I want to highlight a few smaller changes that I've made around the park. Alright, first up is the outside entrance plaza. Like most things in a park, it's constantly being updated and tweaked as I figure out what I really want it to be. Right now, I've got a concept I'm working with that I think is going to look really nice, but it is still very much a work in progress, so don't be surprised if this area changes a few more times as we progress. So, as you can see, it is no longer a big huge square. Nope, now it's a big huge circle. My idea here is that we have this main entry plaza, and off to the side over here, this is going to be kind of like a drop-off point. You see, I planned for the park's road to kind of go right along through here, but this gives an excellent place for, say, families to drop off the kids, or maybe even like our buses. Once they will drop off all the students or whatever visitors that they're carrying, and then the buses will kind of make their way off, and once they're empty, and go park somewhere in like one of our main parking lots, or a secondary parking lot probably, that's just meant for buses. At the same time, at the end of a day at the park, this will make a great pickup place as well. So our main parking will probably be somewhere like in this general area over here, but then what we're going to do is coming around over this way, we'll have a main path leading up to our central plaza. This also gives me a perfect way to kind of weave in the Emporium exit right here as well. So the idea being, the end of the day comes, you've had an entire great day at LandsDowne Park, right? It's time to leave. Park's closing. Well, you would go exit out of the park through the Emporium, and then it dumps out right in here into our main path, where you can either head over here to where you're getting picked up by your parents, or head back to the car so that you can head home. I really think this is a pretty good design that I feel captures just a bit more realism. Now, as you may have noticed slightly, I've gone ahead and opened up the park to visitors. Not many, apparently, though. We only have a few attractions drawing crowds right now, but ever since the last game update, there has been a distinct lack of guests entering the parks. Frontier did something to lower the amount of visitors, which I understand why they did it. However, I think they nerfed it just a little bit too much. But I digress. LandsDowne Park is open for the season, and it's franchise mode after all. I can't just keep everything closed forever and build that way and pretend this is a sandbox. The whole point of this series is to work within constraints of a budget and making a park that can stand on its own. So it's time to start thinking about making money from our guests. That way we can fund research and, of course, add even more attractions. Plus, it just feels so much more alive with people strolling around. I feel like working in franchise mode lets me be a little more creative with giving the park its own stories and history, and that's where the magic really happens. I've also added a few smaller little things to the park. The first one is this little Soda Lifeful stand. This is the first time I've actually used this brand in the game, and I picked it because I love the name, the sign, the color scheme. I mean, it's just so delightful. Of course, I only noticed later that it only serves sugar-free drinks, which I probably should have guessed from the name. This particular little stand here is made by Gary160974, and right here on the screen is the share code for the workshop. I will also put this in a pinned comment after the video is up so that you guys can go check it out on your own and maybe add it to your own parks. If you do decide to use it, make sure you give it a like and favorite it. And while there, go ahead and check out some of Gary's other awesome little creations he's got. He's got a ton of these little stands and even some little food trucks. I'm going to see if I can't work some more of these into the parks as we go. I got the idea to add a few of these little cart style stands after watching another YouTube video. I swear I thought it was either Estan Wolf or Mineral, but when I went back to kind of double check, I could not find the video. So if you're watching and this was your idea, thanks for the inspiration. These little stands feel very realistic. I see them all the time when I visit actual theme parks. And speaking of which, if you're interested in seeing my real life park vlogs, I've got another channel called Phoenix Adventures. It's still in its early days, but it's a passion project that I hope to grow over time, so be sure to check it out. I also added another cart because, as we all know, if you want the official news about any theme park information at all, you ask the Dippin' Dots guy. Now, unfortunately, LandsDowne Park wasn't able to secure an actual Dippin' Dots contract. They wanted too big of a cut for those tiny frozen balls. Luckily, our head chef, Sal Manella, came up with his own version, Frosty Nips, the perkiest little treats you just can't resist. There's only one small itsy bitsy little problem. Sal's recipe only makes one flavor, so therefore our balls only come in blue. Oh, whoops, my bad, this continues on the opposite side of the paper. They only come in blueberry. This little stand, the actual Dippin' Dots one, not my perversion of it, was actually created by the one and only ZSH Plays. Now, if you're a Planet Zoo fan, you probably know of him. He is definitely one of my favorite Planet Zoo YouTubers to watch, and it seems as though he's been dipping his toes into Planet Coaster 2 as well. Once again, you can see the share code on the screen to find this Dippin' Dots stand, and it will be in a pinned comment as well. Make sure to like and favorite it too. Another thing about these stands is that they also fill an important gap right now. Since we don't have any actual restaurants or dedicated food and drink spots, they're a great way to give guests some refreshment until those larger buildings are added later on. But even then, expect to see a few more of these kind of popping around the park as we grow. Alright, now for the main attraction this episode, the Piece de la Resistance, which I've been teasing a little bit here and there and you've probably caught a few glances of already. It's a classic Aero looper I call the Yankee Looper. So a bit of the ride's history. Back in the mid-80s, LandsDowne Park was looking to work with Aero to create one of their multi-inversion coasters. And at the time, Aero had just wrapped up the Orient Express for one of our rival parks, a state over. Our park president was captivated by those intertwining loops and that brand new Batwing element, but something on that scale just didn't fit our budget. So Aero came back to the table with another proposal. How about a corkscrew style layout combined with that new Batwing element? And that's how the Yankee Looper was born. I mean, that's the park history version anyway. Actual build story of it kind of goes more like this. So I modeled this after the classic corkscrew at Cedar Point. I really love how corkscrews, actual corkscrews, go over the path in that plaza. And I wanted to have something similar in this park. So I came up with this design, which is kind of similar, but it also adds a few extra elements. It's also actually close to a remake of an Aero coaster that I made for my park, Triwood Towers, in Planet Coaster 1. I doubt many of you watched that, as I think I only ever did 2 episodes, and then the park file was lost. And I want to give a huge shout out to my friend Joe for the name of the coaster. So I was building this on stream in my Discord when he threw out a few ideas, and I mentioned I was leaning towards kind of an American heritage theme for the colors. Classic red, white, and blue. He came up with Yankee Looper, and it clicked right away. Not only that, but it sparked a bigger idea for an entire section of the park. What you're seeing now is just the first piece of that puzzle. This beautiful monstrosity of steel right here. Alright, let's talk about the layout real quick. So, You climb to the top of a 104-foot tall hill with the nostalgic clickety-clack of the chain. Then there's the classic arrow pre-drop, which will then turn you around 180 degrees, dropping you down 70-some feet into the first of 2 vertical loops, because 2 is better than 1. Then you hit that batwing element, which, if I'm not mistaken, was actually first used on the Orient Express at Worlds of Fun. However, I know of this more from Vortex at Kings Island. Then you're going to hit another airtime hill, another drop. You're going to come up into the mid-course brake run, where you get to catch your breath for just a little bit before you're going to drop down into a right turn. You're going to go over that little bit of water there, into the Corkscrews, over the plaza, then coming into a helix, finally ending into our last little brake run right here. For you statistics lovers out there, we have an excitement rating of 3.84. The fear rating is 2.21, with a nausea rating of 0.57. So not too bad, really. The duration of the ride is 115.19 seconds, 3,229 feet of track, a max speed of 50 miles an hour, an average speed of 19, with the biggest drop being 72.3 feet, and a total of 6 inversions. As far as all the other stats, you can see those right there on the screen on the right hand side. Alright, so I know how some of you guys love to see the build and how it all came together. So we're going to jump into the time-lapse build of this, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about one more quick thing, and then finish the video off with a POV, because I know you guys love that too. Okay, that was pretty much how I built it, minus the footage of getting it to work a little faster through these corkscrews right here. Sorry, I forgot to hit record on that, but honestly, I think the time lapse was already too long. I don't know, maybe some of you guys prefer that. Not many people comment and tell me anything honestly, so how am I supposed to know? So essentially, what I did was I redid the airtime hill right here, gave it a much sharper curve coming out of this into the mid-course brake run, which I did move that back just a little bit, so it used to be more out this way. So I just kind of brought it back this way, and that tightened this up right here. And then I reprofiled the curve coming out of the mid-course brake run into the corkscrews, made this a little bit taller, and that way it kind of comes down. We get a little bit more speed coming into the corkscrews itself, which I did make them a little smaller, a little bit lower to the ground, so they're not as tall as they were, which helps to make the cars a little faster as they go through it. My future plans for the coaster include redoing the batwing so that it is a custom done element instead of one of the pre-builts. That'll give me greater control over the entry into it right here and the exit coming out of it. So essentially, I'll be able to come out of the vertical loop right here, come down at a better angle, and then up into it. And then when we're coming out of it, we're going to be coming down at lower to the ground and then going up into the airtime hill. Should increase the speed a little bit, make everything much smoother than what it is. And I won't have this kind of long straight section right here, which just kind of looks a little odd to me. I think it'll have a much better, smoother flow that way. Also, of course, I'll be redoing the station, or I mean actually giving it a station instead of just a ride platform. Redoing the queue lines a little bit, finishing up the transfer line right here for that. And I want to redo the plazas maybe just a little bit because I don't know, this just seems a little too perfectly circular and it just kind of feels odd. So I want to kind of reshape some of this and make it look a little more natural. And last but not least is landscaping. It definitely needs a lot more landscaping done around it to kind of fix up some rocks and some other stuff. We need to make this actually look more like a creek going down through here and kind of fix it up over here by the batwing as well. Give this a wall that goes along through here. The coverts where the water and stuff are coming out of needs to be done. So lots of little details, but I'll have to do that for another video. Finally, I wanted to talk about the franchise series itself. So the original idea was to have a handful of friends building a park together. But after the launch of Planet Coaster 2 and its, well, let's just call it less than stellar reception, most of them have lost interest. Meanwhile, I myself still love the game, and I really want to continue the concept of building this park as a collaborative project. So, if you, dear viewer out there, would like to join in and help build this franchise, let me know down in the comments. Tell me a little bit about yourself, your strengths, your interests, as far as Planet Coaster 2 or Planet Coaster in turns anyway, and what you would like to add to the park. So Frontier only allows 5 people in a franchise, so I don't have too many spots available, but I can probably make room for 1 or 2 more talented builders to join me on this bumpy looping ride. So that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for watching, and thanks for following along with the growth of LandsDowne Park. If you have any questions or suggestions, I would love to hear them in the comments. What do you think of the layout of the Yankee Looper? Or the name of it? What would you add? What changes would you make? To the park in general even? Let me know. And if you like this episode, be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you're not already, so you don't miss the next one. So until then, wherever you guys are in the world, as usual, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And I'll see you next time. Oh, but wait, like I said, one more thing before I go. That's that POV of the Yankee Looper. Let's take a ride, shall we?
Un toro allemaal.